Okay, this is the Town of Fairfield Economic Development Commission meeting of Thursday, November 5th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. We're joining via teleconference on the line. Our Commission Chair, Kevin Lesko, Commissioners Don Peterson, Steve Rosado, Rishi Narang, and we have Recording Secretary Gretchen Gertner. This is Mark Barnhart, Director of Community Economic Development. Did anyone else join?
Yes,
okay.
Good morning. Elise is here.
Oh, Elise is here as well. Great.
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Chairman, if you'd like to call the meeting to order.
I would like to call the meeting to order and thank everyone for spending some time with us today. And Gretchen, for you are a recorder. And with that, I would like to seek an approval of the minutes from last month. Has everyone had an opportunity to review? And if so, if there are any changes, to bring those forward. And if not, a motion to approve.
I move to approve. This is Don.
Excellent. Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll take that as a yes.
Aye.
Excellent. Very good. Without further ado, I'm going to move along to Mark and let him start some updates for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sure all of you are aware that we've seen a recent surge and spike in COVID-19 cases throughout the state. Positivity rate is over 4%, and as a result of that, and certainly higher in certain communities, we had moved to Phase 3 of the reopening plan back on October 8th. But as of last week, we heard from the governor, or actually earlier this week, we heard from the governor that he was rolling back to Phase 2, or a modified version of Phase 2. He's calling it 2.1 as of tomorrow, November 6th. The major changes affect restaurants, which will revert back to 50% occupancy limits with a maximum of 8 people at each table. And more importantly, they have enacted a closing time of 9:30 p.m. For restaurants and other entertainment venues, with the exception of takeout and delivery services, which are allowed to continue after 9:30. We do have, I've spoken to the first selectwoman. We have expressed our concerns, as I know various restaurants have as well, to the state, to the governor's office, and to DECD. Relative to the impact of this change, particularly as it relates to the closing time. I know the intent is to try to limit people's travel and activities after 10 p.m. Or on the overnight hour, but and to be consistent with actions taken by some of our neighboring states. But it will have a pretty significant impact, more so than the occupancy limits. The early closing will we think, have a pretty significant impact on restaurants here and elsewhere throughout the state. So we have expressed our concerns relative to that, because it would seem to me that the effect of that would be to compress those who do want to participate in in-person dining into a smaller window for the evening hours, which seems counterproductive, as you would probably want to space people out through multiple seatings throughout the night. So I know we're not alone. The Restaurant Association, various restaurant operators have expressed the same concerns. Brenda Kupchak, the first selectwoman here, sent a letter to the governor yesterday communicating her concerns. But that's where we are at present.
What's the likelihood of them walking that back?
From going,
I don't know. I think they have in the past modified their reopening guidance based on feedback that they've received from people within the business community and others. I wouldn't have as much an issue if you were not seating people after 9:30 p.m., but a hard closing time of 9:30. First of all, I'm not sure how they'll go about enforcing this, but and we're just not aware of any cases that are specifically linked to legitimate in-person dining, in terms of COVID-related cases. We are aware of certain bad actors, and we had an incident here where we had to take enforcement action and close down a restaurant bar that was not complying with the sector rules. We feel that's a much more appropriate response to isolate and take enforcement action against those that are operating in violation of the sector rules, as opposed to punishing the entire industry and those that are actually doing their best to comply with guidance from the CDC and the state. So I'm not sure, but
Mark,
we'll certainly give it a shot.
It seems like that's just to prevent people from drinking, because how is it any different after 9:30 to get COVID than it is at 7:30 if you're dining?
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's definitely aimed at bar activity, and I think you could accomplish that. Who's to say 9:30 versus 11 o'clock or 10:30 or something like that? It's a little bit arbitrary, but again, restaurants try to have multiple seatings throughout the dinner hour, and really, if you're telling people they have to be out of the restaurant by 9:30, that really limits the number of seatings you can have in any one night, especially with the occupancy limits the way they are. And it's just,
is there
I'm not
any
sure
room to push back and just make sure that the bar area is specifically closed at that time?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways we can approach this. I think we just have to have the governor and his team reconsider this guidance. So it probably won't. It will take effect November 6th. I suspect that they're not going to change their minds before it takes effect, but maybe we can have some influence in terms of modifying it going forward.
I might suggest it should be changed before it goes into effect. Like now,
well, I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm not sure that that they'll walk it back before then, but I could certainly see it if they were to clarify it and say, hey, we're not allowing restaurants to seat people after 9:30. That kind of makes more sense to me, because that would be a little easier to deal with than an absolute hard closing at 9:30. So anyway, we'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. I would say two other things that we do have. The state is announcing its own small business assistance grants program. I think it seems to be very closely modeled on our own, which is interesting. They're providing mini grants of $5,000 to businesses. They haven't yet started accepting applications. They expect to do so next week. It's limited to businesses that are, I believe, less than 20 employees and no more than $1.5 million in annualized payroll expenses. And they also have to have demonstrated a loss in revenue of 20% or more year over year because of the pandemic. So it's a statewide program. They anticipate the interest will be high because other sources of funding are beginning to lapse or run out. And we're still dealing with the effects of the pandemic. So I'm sure that the interest in that program will remain high. Hopefully they'll be in a position to get the money out the door quickly. In terms of our program, We have seen a renewed flurry of interest in the last week. We've gotten 5 new applications, so we're up to 77 in total, of which we've approved 56 to date. We have a meeting tomorrow with the grant review committee. Thus far, the committee has committed 205 or provided grants totaling $204,000 to those 56 businesses. And, they represent a lot of different industries. Retail and food service predominate, but we also have a lot of hair salons and personal services and fitness providers and others that are in the mix. So we have about $45,000 left to commit. So we'll continue to accept those applications on a first-come, first-served basis, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to meet the needs of the local business community here. Again, if you know of anyone that is struggling, that needs some help, they don't have to be a business that employs persons of low moderate income, and they could have received assistance through PPP or some other program. They can still qualify. They do have to be a microenterprise, however, and have been in business as of the beginning of the pandemic. March 15th is the date that we provided, in terms of the effects here locally when the governor start issuing lockdown orders, and they have to be physically, located. The business has to be established in the town of Fairfield in order to be eligible. But we'll keep processing those applications. We do have another tranche of funding from HUD under the CARES Act. We were notified earlier, last month actually, that we can expect to receive another close to $300,000 to help the community deal with the impact of the pandemic, and we did just issue a notice of funding availability. So we do anticipate providing some funding to help the health department provide outreach and contact tracing, for mental health services, for monies for temporary rent assistance to folks that might be facing evictions as eviction moratoriums now conclude, and to some other providers in the areas of making sure that they're able to provide their services virtually. But we'll also, again, probably recommend putting aside some additional dollars to the small business assistance programs, because it looks like we'll be dealing with these effects for some months now. So that's my update on the response and reopening plan. I don't know if there are any other questions on it.
Mark, what about for that CARE funding? What about the convalescent homes and the assisted living facilities in town? I know they've been taking it on the chin pretty hard, and they've been doing a really good job protecting the individuals that are staying with them. Do they need some funding?
We won't be able to provide it under our funding because of limitations there. But with regard to economic development activities, we're somewhat constrained in the types of assistance or programs that we can offer. We do need to satisfy national objectives with allocation of dollars, and so I'm hopeful that these larger employers, and I agree with you, the convalescent care facilities and assisted living facilities have definitely felt the impact. I'm hopeful that they might be helped through some other programs that maybe have a little bit more resources than we do. I mean, $300,000 won't go very far for sure.
True.
So that's it for COVID. I'll just briefly, we did have those public informational meetings for proposed pedestrian improvements to Stratfield Center and to sections of the Post Road and Southport under 2 different grant initiatives. The Stratfield Village public informational meeting, I thought went well. We had a very robust attendance. SGA, the Village Association, is our partner, and certainly the comments or feedback was generally favorable. I think we had some questions as to ways in which we might be able to better accommodate bicyclists as part of the proposed improvements, and we're looking at those options now to see if we can, revise our design plans in such a way to help bike folks that might be bicycling through the area. But it is pedestrian focused for the most part. That was the intent of the grant. Southport, we had that meeting later in the week. The attendance was not quite as high. I think we may have had a dozen people or so. I think, Don, weren't you on that call, Don, I think?
I was.
Yeah, so the big issue there, and we anticipated that, and I have a follow-up meeting with Total Look Salon, is some of the pedestrian improvements impact a couple of the businesses. Total Look Salon in particular, because of how their parking is configured. Actually, their parking is located within the state right-of-way. So it's been that way for many years, but the state obviously is paying a bit more attention to this type of activity, whether it's permissible, and where they even permit it, they typically ask for some kind of rent arrangement, lease arrangement with the business entity. So we do have a follow-up meeting with the salon owner because our proposed changes will impact the parking there. We're doing our best to mitigate that impact by providing parking spaces elsewhere, but it does result in a reduction in her current parking availability, even though it's not technically permitted. It's there, but it is within the state right-of-way, so we suspect that may go away at some point anyway, because the state doesn't like vehicles parked in the right-of-way and then backing out into oncoming traffic. So we have that meeting scheduled for next week.
And the buy local?
Both those projects would go to construction sometime in the middle of next year, assuming we complete design later this year or early 2021. Any questions on that? John, are you on the call? I just want to make sure. Okay. Gretchen, John Slavin is on the call as well.
And I will stay for the full call.
Oh, okay. Great. Beverly's on as well. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Beverly. Hi, John.
So perfect timing.
Yes, buy local.
Perfect timing, because we're going to talk about the buy local community gift card program, and we're really pleased to be partnering with the Fairfield Chamber on this initiative. Beverly and her team, Krista, her team of one, have been working very hard to enroll businesses here in town. I think you're up to 60 businesses thus far that are participating in the program. But Beverly, do you want to say a few words about it?
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much. Yes, we have 60 or 61 business activated, so they are live on the website, and we have about 5 others in the wings that just need to give us their information, and then we take them live on the website. So far, it's worked out really, really well. We're really excited about this. We did a press conference with First Select Woman, I think just about a week ago, and we got some really, really good coverage on that announcement at the press conference. And Mark and I we had an interview on WITC this past Sunday with Lee Gannum, so we had some nice exposure there. And Fairfield University will be coming in to promote this program by marketing it through their newsletter, and that goes out to 40,000 people, including alumni, parents, students, and that sort of thing. So just to give you an update on how it works, it's really easy. The businesses register through the Chamber of Commerce. They can either call and register, or they can go online and register their business. There's 2 categories for businesses to register in. There's a basic entry point where your business or your restaurant is listed. It does include the contact information and a link to their website. Or you can elevate up to a category which is called a featured category, where the business can either include a photograph of their interior space or exterior building or their logo, whatever they would like. And within that category, that business or restaurant can also offer a special offering, like 10% off of wine through the end of December or something like that. So it's easy, and then anyone who wants to purchase a gift card, all of this goes through the Chamber through our website. So the website address is fairfieldctchamber.com/gift cards. So if you were interested in buying a gift card, you would click on that tab, and you would need to have the recipient's cell phone number or their email address, because, again, these are e-gift cards. We're stepping away from those plastic cards where we leave them at home anyway, and a phone is always with a person. So it's really cool. You can come in and you can pick your denomination up to $250, and you key in the recipient's cell phone number or email, and then you get to write a little note. It's in script, so it's very personalized and cute. And you can say, Dear Mark, happy birthday. I hope you enjoy shopping in downtown Fairfield or in Fairfield. And it goes right to the recipient, right to their phone. And it sits there on their phone until they use it. They can use it at multiple participating businesses. So if they want to use it for a cup of coffee and then go buy lunch over the pantry and go to the bookstore to buy a book, they can be used at multiple participating businesses. So it is not business specific. It is a community gift card, which is what is really cool about that. So we're excited about that. And the gift card works as and let me just step back a bit. When you buy a gift card, it has a nominal fee attached to it, just like it would be if you went into CVS or Stop and Shop and you bought a MasterCard, you pay about $3. So the fee to purchase the gift card is $1 plus 5% of the face value of the gift card. So that gets sent out. It sits on the person's phone. Most people are sending them to the phone. And you go in to either the restaurant or the merchant, and you just show your phone, and they key in the number as they would with any kind of call-in number. Like if you called in for dinner or you called in to purchase something, it works exactly the same way. From what I'm hearing from our merchants, it's very easy to do. So once they're up and running, then the system will work. We've sent out to the participating businesses this week, with Mark's help, is a tent card which will sit next to the cash register or the register countertop, and also a plastic door cling, which so when you enter, it says "Accepted Here," and it shows the logo of the gift card. So far, $1,800 has been purchased by residents, so we're excited about that. But the ultimate objective here is to buy local and keep spending in Fairfield. And this is exclusive to only Fairfield businesses. And the system that we're attached to in our operating partner, YIFTI, they will be able to track how much money is being spent in Fairfield and how much is coming back to the town businesses. So that's really exciting that we can monitor and watch that. So as this promotion grows, we can start to do press releases on that, and we're very excited about it, and we do anticipate the community coming together to purchase these, especially as the holidays are coming up, but beyond. And as we go into 2021, there's graduations, there's anniversaries, there are birthdays, anything that's celebratory for teachers, for real estate agents who are doing closings. So it is appropriate for a lot of people to purchase. So we're excited about that. So that's kind of the overview. Any questions on it? And we hope that all of you on the phone will purchase one as well.
And
Hey, Beverly,
go ahead,
I
Elise.
have a question. I just wanted to know, is the program open to all businesses or only businesses that are a member of the chamber? Like, does it matter? Or
No.
do they need to be chamber members?
Thank you for asking. We used to have a program called Chamber Bucks, and it was exclusive to only chamber members. We've opened this up to the entire community because we want all of our businesses to participate. So there's
awesome.
a nominal fee, and they come in. It's for 12 months, and it's exciting. We're very, very excited about it. I just had the
Beverly, that's great.
Yeah, that was important to us as well, in partnering with the chamber to make sure that it was open to all Fairfield businesses. There is a tiered enrollment structure, which you would expect. Chamber members do get a slight break on the enrollment fee, and we're hopeful that they'll see the value of chamber membership in the future and maybe consider joining Beverly's organization. So.
Yes, thank you for clarifying. Thank you. Yes, but yes.
Beverly, you mentioned Fairfield University. I didn't hear Sacred Heart. Is there a partnership in working with Sacred Heart?
Yes. We've missed 2 phone calls on each side, so they will be participating. I just haven't wrapped it up yet, but they're very.
Yeah, we were hopeful that we can reach out to all of our major employers. That they might consider this as part of their employee recognition programs, if they do any, or have some other opportunities to reward employees along the way, or provide thank you gifts. They might consider this as a way in which to participate. Our hope is to again create that virtuous cycle where we're all helping one another and keeping the local spending in town. So.
Right. And the operating system company, YIFTI, on the national level is working with Staples Office Supplies, and they've picked 10 towns. Staples want to become more involved in communities and chambers of commerce. So we have a Staples in Fairfield, and they will actually be creating posters for the merchants to put on their windows or inside their stores to promote this, not only participating businesses but throughout the town. So they will be coming in as a partner as well.
It occurs to me that if businesses give this to their employees, that it's probably, first of all, it's deductible from their expenses, and it's not a taxable bonus to those employees. So there's actually a kind of an extra value to that. I mean, if you're in a 1/3 tax bracket, it's an automatic bump up with what you were going to give to your employee as a bonus.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Yep.
I hadn't either. We really do want to get out to the bigger businesses like Bigelow, Save the Children. We may even get out to the hospitals to see if they would consider promoting it to their employee base and their staff base as well.
Just an example, if they were going to give a $500 bonus to their employees, it would be the equivalent of adding, well, let's call it a $600 bonus. It'd be the equivalent of adding an extra 200 to it.
Right. Yes, exactly. No, see, it takes a village. Thank you.
Yeah, I like the way you think, Kevin. I will mention working with the Chamber to set up a meeting with our merchant community to talk about other holiday-related promotions that we've typically engaged in over the years. I suspect that we will, pandemic or no, we'll try to do so again. It might have to be a little bit modified in terms of how we conduct things, but we typically have had a presence in town on Small Business Saturday, participated as a neighborhood champion through the American Express program, handed out various tchotchkes and other things to passers-by, people that out doing their holiday shopping. We anticipate doing that again this year in some form or another, and also working with our downtown merchants on a holiday stroll. Again, similar to sidewalk sale, we think that we can do that safely. Certainly the small boutiques and stores that predominate in many village or town centers like Fairfield, they're small. They offer individualized, personalized shopping experience, and we think that certainly as opposed to like large big box stores, you can do that in a way to keep everyone safe and allow them to enjoy the holiday shopping experience. So we're trying to put that together next week, and then working with those folks to have some retail-related promotions for this holiday shopping season.
Hey,
Right,
Mark,
and then
it's
we'll promote the cards too.
Yep. Go ahead, Don.
I think somebody's typing and it's a little distracting. If they could mute their phone.
Is that you, Gretchen?
That was
Not
me.
me.
Sorry.
I like Gretchen was busy taking notes.
I am, but not my computer's in my car because I'm headed.
All right.
Someone's multitasking.
Yeah,
My apologies.
I thought Gretchen was typing also the whole time.
Okay, so I just had again a couple other updates. I know we're running late with time, although I guess John, you're okay in terms of your schedule. Couple things in terms of development activity. We definitely have seen the effects of the pandemic in terms of commercial building activity. I mean, there are building official and fire marshal are still busy. Tends to be on the residential side of things, but in terms of commercial activity and even construction at both of our university campuses, there's been a very pronounced drop-off. For the third quarter this year, year over year from the same quarter last year, we're off 87% in terms of the value of building permits for construction related to commercial building activity. That's overall, and it's quite there's quite a pronounced drop-off, and we're down 40% year to date compared to the same time last year. We have seen vacancy rates continue to tick upward. We're still in pretty good shape compared to many, but overall, I just completed the analysis for we're entering the fourth quarter of 2020. Our overall vacancy rate is about 9%, 18% on the retail, which is pretty much steady from a slight decline from vacancy from the third quarter, but very high historically, and around 13% on office, as we've seen. A lot of even small companies where people are working from home, working remotely, they're choosing to give back that space, and so that has definitely impacted vacancy rates overall. And that's going to have an effect in terms of looking at various development sites in town and what's possible in the current market environment. So what we do see for next year in terms of the construction activity, and we have a number of sites that are queued up that have their approvals in place. We anticipate they'll begin site work and construction. That includes 185 Thorpe Street, where the Jewish Home is partnering with Cinto to develop a 158-unit independent living facility, age-restricted, on the site of the former Fairfield Lumberyard site. We anticipate that they'll have their financing in place and ready to break ground in terms of doing site work and construction late first quarter of 2021, with a completion date of mid to late 2022. Fairfield Metro Center, same thing. I did talk to the developer there. They anticipate they're still awaiting their state traffic control approval, which has been pending for several months now. It typically takes 6 to 8 months to get those FTC approvals in place. They anticipate commencing site work either late this year or early next, and moving ahead with the first phase of their development next year. But most of this stuff that we're seeing is on the residential side. Very limited activity on the commercial side. Demand for commercial office is not particularly robust at the moment, and I don't see that really changing in the near term, unfortunately. So that's kind of just a quick snapshot. I know I throw a bunch of numbers out, but I didn't know if anyone had any reactions or thoughts or comments on that.
Do you have, for purposes of the community theater project with the Clevelands, have they had any success with their leasing? I did hear that
yes.
Sinclair was going to take a piece of to the
there are.
right as they're facing the building.
Thank you, Kevin. There are some bright spots. We do see small retail, even in this environment, small retail spaces being leased, food service. You mentioned, they have leased the former 299 space, or about to a restaurant operator who already has several locations here in town, and they're moving ahead with those plans. So, there definitely are some bright spots. I guess we should make sure we keep those in mind, because, as I pointed out, even though the numbers are historically higher, like vacancy rates are higher than what we traditionally see here, we're still in much better shape than a lot of other places. So I think as we approach the holiday season, much to be thankful for.
I think I'd rather be a suburb than a city right now. So.
Yeah.
To that end, I think we've been cushioned quite a bit, and we're also potentially a flight to quality as a town too. So we do have a lot going for us that'll help mitigate some of our pains.
Yep. Two other quick notes, and I'll send out a link for folks if they're interested in registering. But as you know, I'm a member of the Connecticut Economic Development Association. I think Beverly Ballas and Don Peterson are as well. And the organization is the statewide Association for Economic Development Professionals. And they're hosting their annual meeting virtually next Tuesday, November 10th, from 3 to 4:30. Our guest and featured speaker is Governor Lamont and Commissioner David Lehman, who will talk about, I'm sure, the pandemic and the challenges related to that and their economic development priorities. There is no cost to participating, and all of you are invited to register and attend virtually if your schedule permits. So I'll send out the registration link for that. It's next Tuesday, November 10th, 3 to 4:30. I think it's on Zoom or some other platform like that. But again, a good opportunity to hear from the governor and the ECD commissioner on their thoughts. And then I did want to mention one other bright spot. We did. I applied for and received a small grant from United Illuminating, $10,000 to help with our business development efforts in response to the pandemic. And we were thinking of a couple different uses for that. One, maybe to augment our existing small business assistance program, specifically geared towards restaurants to help them offset some of the costs associated with PPE and some of the other physical modifications they've had to make to their space by providing micro grants, which would be an extension of our existing program, but slightly different than what we currently have. And then secondly, I think especially as we go into the holiday season, as we promote Buy Local through the e-gift card program and other things, there obviously are legitimate, very real concerns about how you conduct yourself safely given the pandemic, and we want to make sure that we get the message out in terms of what many of our small businesses are already doing to ensure the safety of their employees as well as their patrons. So I think we're going to try to put together a couple of promotional videos or other marketing materials that emphasize some of the things that some of our small businesses are doing in that regard to ensure a great, safe, and quality experience. So again, those are the two things we asked for some money for, and we were fortunate enough to get a small grant from UI to further both. And that's all I have to report.
Mark, it's Elise. I just have a quick question. My neighbors have been asking me about what's going to be replacing Victoria's Secret.
Well, I don't have an announcement yet. I know there's been a lot of interest in that location. It's a great spot, and I know the Clebands have been entertaining a lot of different options for it. It's likely to be another retail-related use. I know they've been talking to several about that spot, but I don't think they have a formal lease commitment yet.
Okay.
Fair enough. How about any other business?
I've concluded all of my reports and business that I wanted to talk to. I don't know if there are other questions from commission members that I can avoid answering. Any other commissioners that have any questions? All right. Well, I'll do my best to get an answer for you, Elise, but I think they're still not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all fair and good. It didn't hurt to ask. It was a good swing, right? So, all right. So, I think we're all set for today. If no one has any additional questions, I want to thank Mark and Gretchen for the organization and recording, and each of you for taking the time to help out the town. So, with all that said, I just a motion to close the meeting.
So, motion to close.
Second.
All right.
Yeah.
Seconded, I'd assume, and so that will do it, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Have a great weekend.
Appreciate your time.
All right. Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.